Hey guys, how's it going? So today, I'm going to be doing my top 25 favorite movies of all time because the last one I did, wow, was pretty terrible. Without further ado, let's kick it off. Number 25. Number 25 is Swiss Army Man. This was actually released this year, and it was super different, and there was something to think about throughout the entire movie. It's about a guy that found a dead body, but he started to come back alive. It sounds ridiculous, but it's amazing. So number 24 is actually Across the Universe. I grew up with this movie. I loved it ever since I was a kid, and I didn't have a lot of cable, so I grew up with my dad's movies, and this was one of them. Every bit of this movie is fantastic. It has great music, great performances, and an overall great story. All the Beatles music is in it, and I'm a huge Beatles fan. Beatles, yeah! Alright, so number 23 is Nightcrawler, which was released in 2014 and stars Jake Gyllenhaal, and this movie is fantastic. There's a great dark feel to it, and I definitely recommend it for anybody that's interested in a dark storyline that has an awesome ending. Nightcrawler. So number 22 is another movie I grew up with, but is still a fantastic film. It's Castaway, starring Tom Hanks, and this movie is everything I love in a film. It's about a guy that's stranded on an island and he tries to survive. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. Tom Hanks is by far my favorite actor, and this movie is definitely one of his best. Number 21 is The Shining. Fantastic film. I don't have to say anything about this. This is by far one of my favorite horror movies, and by one of my favorite directors. What else do you have to say? The Shining. Boom. Here we go. Number 20 is another Stanley Kubrick film. I just realized that. It's 2001: A Space Odyssey. This movie is fantastic because of the relationship between the machines and man, and it's very possible this could happen in the future, and it bends your mind at the end. It gets all confusing. Ugh. Number 19 is Memento, directed by Christopher Nolan, and this movie is brilliant because it is told backwards. I love it. Number 18 is Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal. This movie is a fantastic representation of character versus self. Definitely check it out. It's actually really amazing. The ending is kind of confusing, but if you look into it, it makes a whole bunch of sense. Number 17 is The Machinist / Machinist. It's with Christian Bale, and his mind goes places you would never expect, and it's really interesting to watch and interpret into your own kind of mindset, and I really love this movie. Number 16 is American History X. This is my favorite Edward Norton film because it is such a heartwarming story about an older brother that wants to protect his little brother from getting into the same area of crime he was in, and it is honestly a fantastic film. Definitely check this one out. Number 15, Leon the Professional. This movie is everything you want in a heartwarming story about an older guy that's looking out for a little girl. The relationship kind of grows throughout the story, and you really start to know the characters. It's definitely a fun one to check out. Number 14 is another Tom Hanks movie. It's Big, and I remember watching this when I was about 5 or 6 years old and forgetting the title, so I went through and watched every Tom Hanks movie I could find, and that was a really good choice for me because I watched a lot of good movies. But a couple years ago I actually found it, and it was just how I remembered it. It was every bit of fun that I remember. It's about a kid that wishes he was big, and overnight he got big. Number 13 is Inglorious Bastards. This is my favorite Quentin Tarantino film. It has so many brilliant scenes in it. It's about the World War II and guys trying to hunt down some Nazis. Trust me, it's a good time. My favorite war film. There's nothing wrong with it. The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. I've said this in so many other videos, but I really want to express how Jim Carrey is a much better dramatic actor than comedic actor. He's done movies like this, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and a couple others I can't really think of right now, but trust me, this movie is one of the most interesting plots I've ever really thought about before. Number 11 is another movie that has a comedic actor in a dramatic role. It is 1 Hour Photo, starring Robin Williams. And this movie is such a deep movie about a guy that just wants to be loved by a family. Number 10 is probably the most watched movie out of all the movies I've seen before, and is a movie I grew up with because I didn't have cable when I was a kid. I still don't have cable, and I watched this whenever I was bored, and it is Moulin Rouge. So it is about a writer that falls in love with a prostitute. But I didn't know that when I was like 5 years old, but it was an awesome movie, and I still love it to this day. The music is fantastic. There's a perfect storyline to it. I would definitely recommend this to anybody that likes musicals. Number 9 is Nebraska. I bought that poster for a reason. It's an amazing movie that has a perfect ending to it. Coming in at number 8 is The Shawshank Redemption. This is probably considered one of the best movies of all time, but it comes in at number 8 on my list. If you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing with your life? Go check it out. There's perfect narration by Morgan Freeman, and that's the best narration you can ever find. The only thing that would make it better is if Morgan Freeman was on helium.
You don't always get what you expect.
Number 7 is Halloween, directed by John Carpenter. There's a poster right there, because this is not only my favorite horror movie, it was one of the first slasher movies. There's a reason behind every little thing in that movie, and I have a lot of respect for it. Number 6 is a not really well-known movie, but is easily one of my favorites. It's called Once. It's about two people that are making an album together, and they have this journey that is really undescribable, but it's perfect. Number 5 is Rocky / Creed. I really like Creed. It's a tie between Rocky and Creed, but these movies really show dedication and passion. Number 4 is Life is Beautiful. I was shown this movie in 6th grade, and I was the only one that really loved it. A truly amazing film, and I could definitely see this movie be going into the Criterion collection soon. It's honestly a beautiful movie. Alright, now we're going into the top 3 favorite movies of all time. Number 3 is Whiplash. It came out in 2014, and honestly, the first time I saw it, when it ended, I was like, huh? And I was like, oh, that's perfect. Number 2 is Cinema Paradiso. For me, the reason why this movie is so touching is because it's about a friendship and a guy that grows up with a love of film, and it's relatable to me. So I really do love this movie and definitely recommend this if you haven't seen it. And here it is, my number 1 favorite movie of all time. I know I've mentioned this in a couple other videos. My favorite movie of all time is Taxi Driver, directed by Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese has a way of directing that really captures emotion and feeling in the film, and I think that's a really interesting aspect to focus on. The cinematography is perfect, and their theme is overall unbelievable. It's about a guy that just wants to protect somebody from going down the wrong path of life. So guys, that's my top 25 favorite movies of all time. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up, go subscribe. If you have any comments, leave it in the comments, because I'll reply to every single comment. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I really hope you like this list better than the last one, and I'll see you later. Oh, God.